Hi, I'm Lucy. Thank you for joining me for another video, and if this is your first time here, a very warm welcome to you. I hope you enjoy it. About 4 weeks sailing all in all, lad, but you look like a pretty good sailor. I am, sir. I wasn't sick once all the way over, and we had a rough crossing too, Alex said proudly. When you come over, lad? In June, sir, with some friends of my father's. They left me with my uncle in Bombay. You know my Uncle Ralph, don't you? He came aboard with me and spoke to you. Yes, I know your Uncle Ralph. A fine man, too. And now you're going home alone? Yes, sir. School opens next month, and I have to be there. The captain smiled and took Alec by the arm. Come along, he said. I'll show you how we steer this ship and what makes it go. The captain, the sailors, everybody on boat was kind to Alec. But the days passed by. They were monotonous for the homeward bound boy as the Drake steamed its way through the Gulf of Aden and into the Red Sea. The tropic sun beat down without mercy on the heads of the few passengers aboard. The Drake kept near the coast of Arabia, endless miles of barren desert shore, but Alec's thoughts were not on the scorching sand. Arabia, where the greatest horses in the world were bred. Did other fellows dream of horses the way he did? To him, a horse was the grandest animal in the world. Then one day the Drake headed for a small Arabian port. As they approached the small landing, Alec saw a crowd of natives milling about in great excitement. Obviously, it was not often that a boat stopped there. But as the gangplank went down with a bang, Alec could see it wasn't the ship itself that was attracting all the attention. The natives were crowding towards the center of the landing. Alec heard a whistle, shrill, loud, clear, unlike anything he had ever heard before. He saw a mighty black horse rear on its hind legs, its forelegs striking out into the air. A white scarf was tied across its eyes. The crowd broke and ran. White lather ran from the horse's body. His mouth was open, his teeth bared. He was a giant of a horse, glistening black, too big to be pure Arabian. His mane was like a crest, mounting, then falling low. His neck was long and slender and arched to the small, savagely beautiful head. The head was that of the wildest of wildest creatures, a stallion, born wild, and it was beautiful, savage, splendid. A stallion with a wonderful physical perfection that matched his savage, ruthless spirit. Once again the black screamed and rose on his hind legs. Alec could hardly believe his eyes and ears. A stallion, a wild stallion, unbroken, such as he had read and dreamed about. 2 ropes led from the halter on the horse's head, and 4 men were attempting to pull the stallion towards the gangplank. They were going to put him on the ship. Alec saw a dark-skinned man wearing European dress and a high white turban giving directions. In his hand he held a whip. He gave his orders tersely in a language unknown to Alec. Suddenly he walked to the rear of the horse and let the hard whip fall on the black's behind quarters. The stallion bolted so fast that he struck one of the natives holding the rope. Down the man went and lay still. The black snorted and plunged. If ever Alec saw hate expressed by a horse, he saw it then. They had him halfway up the plank. Alec wondered where they would put him if they ever did succeed in putting him on the boat. Then he was on. Alec saw Captain Watson waving his arms frantically, motioning and shouting for the men to pull the stallion towards the stern. The boy followed at a safe distance. Now he saw the makeshift stall into which they were attempting to get the black. It had once been a good-sized cabin. The drake had little accommodation for transporting animals. Its hold was already heavily laden with cargo. Finally, they had the horse in front of the stall. One of the men clambered on top of the cabin, reached down and pulled the scarf away from the stallion's eyes. At the same time, the dark-skinned man again hit the horse on the hind quarters, and he bolted inside. Alec thought the stall would never be strong enough to hold him. The stallion tore into the wood and sent it flying. Thunder rolled from under his hooves. His powerful legs crashed into the side of the cabin. His wild, shrill, high-pitched whistle sent shivers up and down Alec's spine. He felt a deep pity steal over him, for here was a wild stallion used to the open range, imprisoned in a stall in which he was hardly able to turn. Captain Watson was conversing angrily with the dark-skinned man. The captain had probably never expected to ship a cargo such as this. Then the man pulled a thick wallet from his side of his coat. He counted the bills off and handed them to the captain. Captain Watson looked at the bills and then at the stall. He took the money, shrugged his shoulders, and walked away. The dark-skinned man gathered the natives who had helped bring the stallion aboard, gave them bills from his wallet, and they departed down the gangplank. Soon the drake was again underway. Alec gazed back at the port, watching the group gathered around the inert from the native who had gone down under the black's mighty hooves. Then he turned to the stall. The dark-skinned man had gone to his cabin, and only the excited passengers were standing around outside the stall. The black horse was still fighting madly inside. The days that followed were hectic ones for Alec, passengers and crews. He had never dreamed a horse could have such spirit, be so untamable. The ship reached sound far into the night from the blows struck by the powerful legs. The outside of the stall was now covered with reinforcements. The dark-skinned man became more mysterious than ever, always alone and never talking to anyone but the captain. The drake steamed through the Suez to the Mediterranean. That night Alec stole out upon deck, leaving the rest of the passengers playing cards. He listened carefully. The black was quiet tonight. Quickly he walked into the direction of the stall. At first he couldn't see or hear anything. Then as his eyes became accustomed to the darkness, he made out the pink-colored nostrils of the black, who was sticking his head out the window. Alec walked slowly towards him. He put one hand in his pocket to see if the sugar he had taken from the dinner table was still there. The wind was blowing against him, carrying his scent away. He was quite close now. The black was looking out on the open sea, his ears pricked forward, his thin-skinned nostrils quivering, his black mane flowing like wind-swept flame. Alec could not take his eyes away. He could not believe such a perfect animal existed. The stallion turned and looked directly at him. His black eyes blazed. Once again, that piercing whistle filled the night air, and he disappeared into the stall. Alec took the sugar out of his pocket and left it on the windowsill. He went to his cabin. Later, when he returned, it was gone. Every night thereafter, Alec would steal up to the stall, leave the sugar, and depart. Sometimes he would see the black, and other times he would only hear the ring of hooves against the floor. The end of chapter 1. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, I would greatly appreciate it if you would please kindly give me a like, comment below, share with others, subscribe to my channel, and click the notification bell to be alerted of every time I upload a new video. Please come back to see the next one. Until then, bye for now and be blessed.